video, we will use Excel to implement the famous basic shift code, which we know was used by Julius Caesar and may have been used earlier. So the shift code is really simple to explain, and then we'll use ifs, if errors, VLOOKUPs, index match, and the concept of ASCII code characters to basically implement the shift code. So basically you start with your letters A through Z, and the question is, in the code, what will represent an A, what will represent a B, etc. Well, you pick a number of characters to shift the alphabet by. Suppose we pick 4. So that would mean A will be represented by an E, B by an F, but then the problem is you loop around. Okay, so V, if you had 4 letters, would turn into Z, because V is the 22nd letter in the alphabet there. Okay, and so that would be a Z. But then W, if you shifted 4 letters, you go X, Y, Z, it's got to be an A, and then a B for X, C, and D. Now I could manually put those in, but if I change the shift, I want this to automatically change. And then I could code a message. Reinforcements are on the way. Okay, so then R will turn into V, etc. We'll show how to do this. And then I could decode the message. Okay, so first thing you have to know is ASCII characters 1 through 256, and A is character 97. Okay, and then a Z is character 122. So if you type the formula here, upper, that changed it to uppercase, not that it matters. Then character D5 that says find character 97, make it a capital. That's a capital A. Copy it down, you have a capital Z. Now, how do you figure out for each of these letters, the ones that are from the message, what they will be in the code or the cipher? Well, you have to add 4 letters. Okay, so we have an if statement. Okay, so if you take the character number and add the amount of the shift, in this case 4, if it's less than or equal to the last codes for Z, 122, then basically that would be the code, that would be the ASCII character number for the coded character. But what if that doesn't happen? Okay, so like if you come down to V, okay, you got 118, you add the shift to 4, that's less than or equal to 122, you can make it a Z. But what happens if that's not true? So for instance, you come down to W here. You would take its character 119. If you add 4, you get 123, which would take you past the Z. Okay, but then you take 123 minus 122, the character Z, that's a 1. Add it to 96, and that'll take it to 97, which should be an A. And then for X, you'd have 120, okay, plus 4. 124 minus 2 is 2. You get a 98, which would be a B. So that's going to work out okay. So we have a clever if statement here. Again, what that clever if statement does, okay, if shifting it by 4 leaves you in the range A through Z, that gives you the correct ASCII character number. And it basically, shifting it by 4 brings you beyond the Z. Then we loop around and we get, as you can see here, we get the A, the B, C, and the D. Okay, so we now have the right coded characters there. Okay, so how can we code the message? Okay, so here's our message. Reinforcement space are on the way. We don't code the space. Guess we could. But the coded message is simply going to be an if error with a VLOOKUP. We need an if error because when there's a space, we don't want to look up anything. So based on the letter in the message, which in this case is R, okay, we go columns E through G, and from the 3rd column, then we pick off our characters. So like if this is R, we find R, basically that should probably be a VLOOKUP false, but since it's alphabetized, I think it works, okay? But just to be safe, I probably should make that a false, and then I can copy that down. Okay, so I think that works okay. Let's see here. So R on the way. On would be SR, XLI, so that works. But it should be a VLOOKUP false technically, because our lookup is based on text. I think, again, the fact that we're sorted A through Z saves us, but just to be sure, I don't want to sort of violate the rule we've mentioned earlier. So we take the R, we find an R basically in the 1st column of ranges E through G, which is column E, and so we find the R, then we come over to the 3rd column, because that's the coded or cipher character, that's a V. Then the E would be an I. Okay, and if we have one near the end of the alphabet, Y becomes a C right there. Okay, so now we've coded the stuff. Okay, now how would we decode it? Well, if you want to decode it, what you'd have to do is find the coded character in column G. How far down do you go? And then you can do that with match. And then you can use index to go to basically to column E and pick out the right answer. So if I wanted to decode the message, assuming the person I sent it to knows the shift character is 4, although this is a pretty easy code to break. So I do index, so column E is where I find the message, and I match what's in column K, the coded character, but I match it in the cipher character column, which is column G. Okay, and of course I need the first column would give me the answer. But for instance, for an R here, we would match the R, okay, and that's going to be right here, and then basically, sorry, V is the first coded character. So I go down to V, I would match it right here, which I guess would be the 18th row of the range. Then I come to the 18th row of the message column, and I would get back the R, etc. And I do an if error there, because basically the space is not going to have a match, and then I replace that by an empty space. And so that's, from start to finish, how I can do a basic shift code, which is really cool. But notice I had to know a lot of Excel. Ifs, if errors, VLOOKUPs, index match, and how the ASCII code characters work.
Okay, so thanks for watching, and there's a free course, a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, and all of these videos are coming from one of 3 books. So first, this one, which you can see here at the top of the screen, Microsoft's book, which has 355 reviews, and then it's, let's see, 4.6 stars. It's coming from this book as well, his marketing analytics book, which is down here, and you can sort of see 4.5, or his newest book, his analytics stories book, which is here. And with that one, you can see it's 4 point something, or maybe even 5. I don't think it's 5. Yeah, 4.8. And so, yeah, anyways, in the description, there's a free 21-day course from Dr. Winston, or you can go to excelwithwayne.com/free, and it'll be there. But again, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, just please let us know. Thanks.